Welcome! Do you want to learn English in a fun and easy way? In this video, we teach English using narrated, animated stories. Here is how it works. On the left, watch the beautiful animations. They are designed to help you understand and enjoy the story. On the right, you can read along as you listen to the narrator. When we reach a difficult word, don't worry. A box will appear at the bottom with a simple definition and an example to help you learn. Let's get started.
In April 2026, something amazing happened in Beijing, China. A robot called Lightning ran in a half-marathon race through the city streets. This machine was about 5.5 feet tall. Lightning finished 13.1 miles in just 50 minutes and 26 seconds. This was a new world record. No human had ever run that distance so quickly. The robot easily beat the human record, which was about 57 minutes. Jacob Kiplimo from Uganda had set that record earlier. Lightning ran at about 25 kilometers an hour, using its own internal guiding system. It was one of over 300 humanoid machines that raced alongside 12,000 human runners. Some robots ran very fast, others fell or needed help from technicians. The large crowd watching cheered loudly. It was clear that the world of machines was changing. Just over 3 months later, in July 2026, a very different kind of news came from Washington, D.C. This news had big consequences. A U.S. government agency, the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, made a quiet decision. It stopped many new machines from entering America. These included human-like robots and advanced robots that connect to the Internet. The rule said these new models could not come from countries the government saw as a security threat. This action was mostly aimed at China. China makes most of these types of robots, holding about 85%.
Soon, people learned that this rule also included smart vacuum cleaners. Millions of Americans had these machines. Chinese companies also dominate this product type. So a factory robot and a home vacuum were both called national threats. This was surprising. People asked, how did a robot vacuum cleaner end up on the same banned list as a factory robot? Why now? Months after a Chinese robot broke a world record, and after similar rules for Chinese cars, America blocked these machines. Robots are becoming truly useful. They can stack boxes, work in factories, and even run marathons. But the U.S. decided to keep the newest foreign ones out. This decision is not just one simple choice. It is the latest part of a bigger fight. This fight has been growing for years, involving phone parts, cars, and flying drones. Now, this struggle has reached robots. Many experts believe robots will define the next 10 years of technology. This strange ban is the spark of a much larger hidden war for the future of technology around the world. 2. How the ban works. The government's quiet move to block advanced robots and smart vacuums centers around a special, often secretive list. This important document is known as the Covered List. It is managed by the Federal Communications Commission, or FCC, an agency usually focused on radio and phone services. The FCC uses this list to name foreign technologies it believes are too dangerous for American homes and businesses.
The goal is to protect U.S. national security and the safety of its citizens from potential threats posed by these devices. On July 28, 2026, the FCC significantly updated this list. It added 2 new categories: advanced robotic devices and connected power inverters. The first category includes many types of mobile robots, like humanoid robots, robotic dogs, and even everyday smart vacuum cleaners. These machines connect to the Internet, collect data, and move in physical spaces. A group of national security experts meeting at the White House found that these foreign-made items posed unacceptable risks to the United States. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr stated that this decision aligned with President Trump's leadership to secure America's important supply chains, emphasizing a unified government effort. The way the ban works is very specific, not a blanket stop. It is often described as surgical. This means it targets certain things precisely without affecting others. For example, the rule does not affect robots that people already own and use. If you have a smart vacuum from a foreign company that was bought before the ban, you can still use it without any problem. Retailers are also allowed to keep selling existing models that were already authorized and in stock before the new rule took effect. This ensures that current consumers and businesses are not suddenly left without their working devices. This made up more than 97% of the 19,100 units shipped worldwide during that time. This was a huge jump, 272% more than the year before. Two main Chinese companies, Shanghai-based Agibot and Hangzhou-based Unitree Robotics, together sold about 3/4 of all humanoid robots on Earth. Experts believe this fast growth will continue. They expect nearly 60,000 units to be shipped globally by the end of 2026, and as many as 500,000 each year by 2030. This strong market dominance did not happen by accident. China controls the global making of almost all the parts needed for robots. This includes vital components like electric motors, precision actuators, batteries, and sensors. Because of this, Chinese robot makers can get their parts very quickly and cheaply from nearby factories. In contrast, Western companies often rely on parts shipped from far across oceans. By 2026, many Chinese robot companies built over 90% of their key parts inside China. The government strongly supports this trend with money and action plans. Their goal is to have 100,000 humanoid robots working across the country by 2027, helped by big orders from electric vehicle and battery companies. The price difference is also striking. Entry-level humanoid robots from American companies like Agility Robotics and Boston Dynamics start at over $90,000. However, Unitree's cheaper models can be bought for as little as $3,975 or $13,500 for a more capable version. This means Chinese robots are often 6 to 20 times cheaper. This combination of low cost, high production numbers, and rapid improvements keeps American policymakers and robot executives worried. It reminds them of the solar panel industry, where China's large-scale manufacturing pushed many Western competitors out of the market. The speed of progress is truly astonishing. At the Beijing Half Marathon in 2025, only a few robots finished, and the winner took nearly 2 hours and 40 minutes. Just 1 year later, a robot beat the human world record, finishing in just over 50 minutes. This rapid change leaves many wondering if the American robotics industry is already too far behind to ever catch up. 4. The hidden danger. A robot is more than just a simple machine. Many new robots can walk, see with cameras, and hear with microphones. They also connect to the internet, like phones or computers. This allows them to get new software and send information back to their makers. But what happens when such a machine, which can move freely and collect a lot of data, is connected to the internet? This question made many people worry. These advanced robots could collect personal data without users knowing. They could be used for surveillance, gathering private information about homes or workplaces, or even government facilities. Some people called them Trojan horses, machines that seem helpful
but could secretly be used to spy or start cyber attacks on vital systems. Security experts found real problems with these devices. In March 2025, some independent researchers discovered a hidden backdoors in a popular robot dog model. This robot dog, named Go1, was made by a company called Unitree. The backdoor was in the robot's firmware, which is like its basic internal software that makes it run. This secret door let anyone with a special key control the robot from far away without permission. They could even see live video from the robot's onboard cameras, watching everything the robot saw. What was more worrying was where these robots were found and the lack of a solution. Nearly 2,000 of these vulnerable robot dogs were connected to this secret network. Some were even operating inside well-known American universities like MIT and Princeton and other research institutions. This meant important research labs and sensitive areas could have been watched without anyone knowing. No public fix, also known as a patch, was ever released for this specific problem, leaving the robots exposed. The dangers quickly grew worse and spread to other models. Other problems were found in different Unitree robots. One flaw allowed people nearby to take control of a G1 humanoid robot using its Bluetooth connection. Every G1 robot shared the same secret encryption key. This meant that if one robot's key was found, all G1 robots could easily be hacked. Then, months later, researchers found a new, serious problem called Unipawn. This exploit affected many Unitree robots, including the Go2 and B2 robot dogs, and the G1 and H1 humanoids. This flaw was very serious because of its ability to spread. It meant that one hacked robot could automatically find and infect other nearby Unitree machines without human help. This could create a self-growing robot army that no one could turn off. Such a threat was an unsettling thought for many security officials. They worried about the broad implications. Because Chinese companies must follow their country's national security laws, any technical vulnerabilities in their robots became a national security risk for other countries, not just a technical bug. This hidden danger showed how quickly helpful technology could turn into a serious threat. 5. Not the first time. The government's ban on new foreign robots was not a sudden decision. It was part of a pattern that began years ago. Before robots, similar rules targeted other kinds of technology from foreign countries. This hidden plan shows how the U.S. has been trying to protect itself. First, the government blocked certain phone and internet equipment. Around 2022, big companies like Huawei and ZTE were stopped from selling their telecom devices in the U.S. Officials worried these devices, used in cell towers, could be used to spy on Americans. Next came smart cars. In January 2025, the government said no to new connected cars if they had strong links to China or Russia. This rule covered cars and the special systems inside them, like sensors and self-driving software. For example, some parts of this ban started for 2027 model cars. It also stopped Chinese self-driving car companies from testing their vehicles in the U.S. This was a clear sign of what was to come for other machines. Then, flying drones became a target. In 2025, a law was made that asked a U.S. security agency to check a Chinese drone company called DJI. If the agency did not finish this check in 1 year, DJI drones would automatically be banned. The agency did not finish the check. So, in December 2025, the government added foreign-made drones to its special list. This meant new drone models could not enter the U.S. Also, updates for drones already here would stop by January 2029. This was a swift action driven by a deadline. This shows a pattern.
First telecom, then cars, then drones, and now robots. All these bans use the same legal tool, the covered list.
It is a list of devices thought to be a risk to U.S. national security. The Pentagon, America's Defense Department, also keeps a list of companies it says have ties to China's military. In June 2026, the robotics maker Unitree was added to this list. The government later used Unitree's past security problems as a reason for banning foreign robots. The government is using the same steps again and again. With robots being the fourth main target, it makes people wonder what everyday machine will be next. Will it be smart home devices, laptops, or even medical equipment? This ongoing effort raises big questions about the future of technology in America. It creates a shadowy sense of suspense for what will be banned next. 6. Saving American businesses. The new ban on foreign robots seemed to be about national safety, but there was another secret reason. Many people believed the ban was also to help American robot companies. These companies were struggling to compete with cheaper foreign robots. Experts said that U.S. firms like Tesla, Figure, and Boston Dynamics would get a big boost from this new rule. The government wanted America to be a leader in robot technology. They did not want foreign companies to dominate the market, like what happened with solar power years ago. This idea was supported by leaders.
For example, FCC Chairman Brendan Carr said the FCC was acting in lockstep with our national security agencies under President Trump's leadership to secure supply chains. This move was seen as one of the strongest actions in modern U.S. history for technology security. Firms developing robots in the U.S., like Figure AI and Agility Robotics, had factories in America and planned to grow. However, there was a big problem. Even robots called American-made often used many parts from other countries, especially China. This was a surprising truth. Things like robot motors, actuators, batteries, and special metals for parts often came from Chinese factories. So even if the final robot was put together in America, its main pieces were still foreign. Analysts called this false de-risking. It meant that just building the robot in the U.S. did not stop the country from relying on foreign parts. The ban tried to fix this. To be approved, a robot had to be made mostly from American parts. By 2029, 75% of a robot's value would need to come from domestic production. This was meant to force a real change in where parts came from. But this new rule might be too hard for American companies right now. It is much harder than what they can actually do. Experts looked at what might happen by 2030. They thought U.S. robot companies would lose over $6 billion in revenue. This is because they still need foreign parts that they cannot make easily at home.
They predicted that American humanoid robot production would be much lower, perhaps 41% less in 2027 and 58% less by 2030. This situation would also cause Chinese robot makers, shut out of the U.S., to sell more to countries in Europe instead, helping them grow. Some small American robot companies found it very difficult to adapt. One founder, who built robots for apartment buildings, had to move early assembly work to Canada. Yet many key components were still from China. This meant his robots would not qualify for U.S. sale under the new rule. Another founder, making cosmetic robots, explained that using a Chinese manufacturer for prototypes was her only real choice. She said building the same prototypes in America would have been impossible. This leaves a big question for the future. Can domestic businesses truly survive this ban and grow on their own? Or will the lack of foreign parts cause the whole American industry to collapse? Their motives for the ban were clear, but the outcome remains uncertain. 7. China fights back. The U.S. decision to ban new Chinese robots caused a strong reaction in Beijing. China's Ministry of Commerce quickly criticized the move. It said the United States was wrong to block Chinese products and that it ignored Beijing's calm approach in the past. They called the ban unilateral bullying and a way to twist the market. China strongly asked the U.S. to take back the order right away.
It warned that if the U.S. did not, it would cause serious damage to the wider trade relationship between the two countries. Beijing argued that Washington was overusing the idea of national security to hurt Chinese companies and products. China officially said it was against this suppression of its businesses. Soon after these words, China started to fight back with its own actions. In August, Beijing put new trade rules on several American companies. It also made export controls on drones that were sold into the United States. These moves came directly after the U.S. robot ban and other U.S. actions against Chinese firms. This showed a pattern of back-and-forth measures, where each country responded to the other's actions, making the situation more tense. China holds a very strong position because it largely controls rare earth minerals. These are special materials that are absolutely essential for making motors found in robots, as well as in fighter jets and smartphone batteries. China controls almost all of the world's ability to process these minerals. This means that even if a robot is built and put together in America, many of its key components could still rely on China for these vital materials. This monopoly gives China a powerful advantage and a strong bargaining chip in any trade dispute with the U.S. These increasing tensions built up just before a very important meeting was planned.
Chinese leader Xi Jinping was expected to visit President Trump in the U.S. in September 2026. This trip was seen as a return visit after President Trump had gone to Beijing earlier. People were very worried if this high-stakes meeting would lead to a peaceful solution. An earlier trade agreement about rare earths, which had eased tensions for a year, was set to expire around the time of the meeting. Now, with new disagreements and counterattacks, everyone watched to see what would happen next. Would the leaders find a way to stop the fighting and agree on a peace deal? Or would their critical meeting accidentally start a much bigger, uncontrollable global trade war that could harm many countries around the world? What happens next? The new government rules will soon change things for everyday people in America. You might see higher prices when you shop. Also, many popular smart home gadgets will disappear from store shelves. Chinese companies make most of the smart vacuum cleaners that clean floors in millions of homes. These brands are very good and their products are often cheaper. But new models from these companies will not be allowed into the United States anymore. This means fewer choices for buyers. American companies will try to make these products instead. However, this takes time, and their robots and smart devices are often more expensive to make, so prices for common household robots and other connected gadgets are likely to go up. Chinese leader Xi Jinping was expected to visit President Trump in the U.S. in September 2026. This trip was seen as a return visit after President Trump had gone to Beijing earlier. People were very worried if this high-stakes meeting would lead to a peaceful solution. An earlier trade agreement about rare earths, which had eased tensions for a year, was set to expire around the time of the meeting. Now, with new disagreements and counterattacks, everyone watched to see what would happen next. Would the leaders find a way to stop the fighting and agree on a peace deal? Or would their critical meeting accidentally start a much bigger, uncontrollable global trade war that could harm many countries around the world? What happens next? The new government rules will soon change things for everyday people in America. You might see higher prices when you shop. Also, many popular smart home gadgets will disappear from store shelves. Chinese companies make most of the smart vacuum cleaners that clean floors in millions of homes. These brands are very good and their products are often cheaper. But new models from these companies will not be allowed into the United States anymore. This means fewer choices for buyers. American companies will try to make these products instead. However, this takes time, and their robots and smart devices are often more expensive to make, so prices for common household robots and other connected gadgets are likely to go up.
This is because American and allied makers need to fill the gap that Chinese suppliers used to fill quickly and cheaply. This ban on robots and other devices comes from worries about national security. The government sees any connected machine from a rival country as a possible risk. But where does this way of thinking stop? We have already seen bans on telecom equipment, connected cars, and drones. These items all have sensors, software, and internet connections. Robots are the latest to join this list. What about other important devices we use every day? Laptops, smartphones, and even medical devices also have cameras, microphones, and connect to the internet. They share the same basic design as the banned robots. If the government uses the same idea for all these products, they could be next. This makes some people worried about what else might be banned from homes and businesses in the future, creating a slippery slope. The idea is that any product with a vulnerability could be a risk. In the spring of 2027, a new half-marathon will take place in Beijing. Robots will race again, just like they did before. If these machines keep getting better and faster, the new winning robot might break records. It could run even faster than Lightning, the robot that beat a human runner in 2026. This next champion robot will likely be made by a Chinese company. Its parts will be mostly made in China.
But because of the new rules, this very advanced robot will not be allowed to enter the United States. It will be illegal there. This creates a future where technology is very different in different parts of the world. One side will use the latest, fastest machines, while the other side cannot. Will America truly catch up, or will it fall further behind by keeping out these advanced machines? What do you think about this future, where different countries might use very different technologies?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.